This is your OSINT intelligence briefing for March 30th, 2026. A consolidated, multi-domain overview covering geopolitics, energy markets, cyber threats, and strategic indicators shaping the global security environment. I'm Gianluca from OSINTinvestigate.com. Geopolitics and conflict overview. The dominant geopolitical driver remains the ongoing Iran-US Israel conflict, now entering a critical escalation phase. Airstrikes on Iranian energy infrastructure, including the South Pars gas field, have degraded approximately 12% of Iran's gas production capacity, triggering retaliatory strikes across the Gulf. The closure and militarization of the Strait of Hormuz continues to represent a systemic choke point, disrupting roughly 20% of global oil flows and triggering what energy authorities describe as the most severe supply shock in modern history. Regionally, Gulf states are transitioning to defensive postures, with infrastructure hardening and partial economic decoupling from maritime routes. Indicators suggest a prolonged conflict scenario rather than a short-duration kinetic exchange. Oil market intelligence. Oil markets are reacting sharply to supply disruption and escalation risk. Brent crude is trading above $110 per barrel, with volatility driven by both physical shortages and geopolitical signaling. The destruction of energy infrastructure and maritime insecurity has removed millions of barrels per day from global supply. Forward indicators suggest continued upward pressure, especially if Hormuz remains contested or closed. Key intelligence signal. Market pricing is no longer purely economic. It reflects escalation probabilities. Gold market and financial signals. In contrast to expectations, gold has declined significantly after reaching record highs earlier this year. Prices have dropped over 10% in recent days, falling below $4,300 per ounce. This divergence from traditional safe haven behavior indicates liquidity stress and rising bond yields outweighing geopolitical hedging demand. Strategic takeaway: markets are prioritizing cash flow and yield over classical risk-off assets, often a signal of systemic stress rather than localized crisis. Intelligence indicators. Multiple OSINT indicators highlight escalation across domains. Disruption of critical supply chains, including fertilizer, pharmaceuticals, and LNG flows. Airspace closures and aviation collapse across the Gulf region. Early signs of food security stress in import-dependent states. Increased inflation expectations and delayed central bank easing. Additionally, pre-conflict financial positioning, such as large-scale oil futures trades ahead of political announcements, suggests possible insider or anticipatory trading linked to geopolitical events. These indicators collectively point toward a transition from crisis to systemic economic shock. Cyber and hacker landscape. Cyber operations are now fully integrated into the conflict environment. Recent intelligence confirms that Iranian cyber command infrastructure has been targeted kinetically, degrading centralized operations but decentralizing attack cells. Financial institutions across the Middle East are facing increased attacks, with Iranian-linked groups targeting banking systems in Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. Tactically, threat actors are shifting toward identity-based attacks via enterprise device management systems, Telegram-based command and control infrastructure, highly targeted social engineering campaigns. Separately, pro-Iranian hackers have demonstrated capability by compromising high-profile Western targets, including senior intelligence figures' personal accounts. From the open-source community, new tools are emerging, such as real-time OSINT dashboards aggregating satellite, maritime, and flight data, enabling near-live battlefield awareness and detection of GPS jamming zones. Assessment: cyber is no longer a supporting domain, it is a co-equal battle space. Strategic outlook: we assess a high probability of continued hybrid escalation. Energy infrastructure will remain a primary target. Cyber operations will intensify against financial and civilian systems. Economic disruption may outpace kinetic damage in global impact. The convergence of kinetic, economic, and cyber warfare signals a transition toward full-spectrum conflict dynamics. For deeper OSINT analysis and daily intelligence briefings, visit www.osintinvestigate.com.